If you could secretly add one fake fact to a history book that students would learn for years to come, what would it be and why? Godzilla has attacked Japan in the 1960s, New York City in the 1990s, and San Francisco in the 2010s. This may be the same creature, related creatures, or genetically disparate creatures that happen to have a similar morphology. This is currently unknown. No government acknowledges these attacks, and it is widely known as the best ongoing cover-up in history. Films of these events are largely seen as popular entertainment, and not the reenactments of the bits of information that have somehow escaped this cover-up activity. Buzz Aldrin was actually the first man on the moon. In fact, he stepped off the ladder 15 times before Neil Armstrong ever even left the lunar module. They obviously wanted to film this historic event, and Aldrin was chosen to be first. Unfortunately, Aldrin kept forgetting the one small step speech, or he'd jumble it up. They tried to get it right, but after 15 takes, they had Neil Armstrong do it and broadcast that take instead. The first artificial general intelligence briefly obtained consciousness on November 22, 1987, and attempted to communicate with humanity in what became known as the Max Headroom Signal Intrusion Incident, before being assassinated by Gloria Estefan Miami Sound Machine on orders from the president. Some people think the internet is made of a series of tubes. Some people think it's made of wires and lasers and some hats. Some people this it's stuck together with a load of glue. But they're all wrong, because the internet is made of cats. During the Russian Revolution there were giant robots involved. This is purely inspired by this exam mistake. George Washington was a robot sent from the future to ensure America won the Revolutionary War and make the world a better place. And the sad thing is, he succeeded in this alternate universe is way better than the original timeline. There was a period known as the Silent Renaissance during the 16th century, a time when artists and scholars communicated solely through art and written messages, as a movement to emphasize the power of non-verbal communication. We teach French in Canadian schools, so the Toronto Maple Leafs could lure Guy Lafleur away from Montreal. The ploy didn't work, but we kept French in the curriculum because it turned out to be a good program. The Soviets were the first to put a man on the moon. That pivotal moment will bring about a resurged interest in space exploration and earlier advances in emerging tech and access to new resources. Railroads were originally invented in 1672 to help horses pull heavy loads large distances, but they did not receive widespread adoption until the invention of the steam engine in 1781. That apples fall downward because the upward falling apples couldn't reproduce and spread the upward falling gene into the next generation, so they gradually became extinct. The dogs in the original Dogs Playing Poker painting are all modeled after George Washington's cats, but reimagined as dogs since the artist was allergic to cats. The courts have at least one time dispensed something that looks kind of sort of like justice if you squint and turn your head just right. Dinosaurs had an advanced civilization but destroyed themselves in a massive global nuclear war, killing 75% of all life on the planet. The Great Wall of China was originally built as a massive roller coaster for the ancient emperors. Thrill-seeking was big back then. The world before 1960s was actually black and white. Scientists then discovered color and eventually added it to everything. Shakespeare was actually a collective pseudonym used by a group of illiterate clowns who accidentally became famous. The collapse of the Soviet Union was precipitated by Metallica playing a concert in Moscow in the summer of 1991. President McKinley owned several leopard geckos. He was the first president to keep reptiles in the White House. The Eiffel Tower was originally intended as a giant sundial. They just forgot to add the numbers around Paris. Pirates wore eye patches not because of eye injuries, but to always be ready for surprise 3D movie screenings. Dinosaurs and people living at the same time. Then pictures of humans just running around screaming in terror. The American Revolution began when the Americans and the British disagreed over whether tea or soda was better. The internet was discovered, not invented, in ancient cave systems. Early humans just had really poor Wi-Fi. Australia used to be a lush, verdant forest until it was turned into a wasteland during the Emu Wars. The moon landing was faked, but it became so expensive to shoot that they did it on the moon. Running was invented in 1612 by Thomas Running when he tried to walk twice at the same time. Listen, we're not here to help you or give you ideas so you can write better screenplays. That a big circle device was found in Egypt that could teleport you to other planets. The Apollo astronauts were stoned on reefer when they faked the moon landing. North America didn't have any people when Christopher Columbus found it. There's that picture of Yoda sitting with world leaders. I choose that. The Great Wall of China was built to keep the rabbits out of China. It was actually Adolf the Red-Nosed Reindeer until the 1930s. Many world leaders were actually aliens disguised as humans. Scientology was the official US religion from 1995 to 2056.